Hello and welcome, brothers. This is, in a way, a completely separate second video on the Imperial Knight Titan. Fully completed, fully constructed. I do apologise about the light. I can't really get any light to go upwards, it's all facing down. So, but I can zoom in and hopefully that will bring out some of the detail. Maybe not. Anyway, you probably saw my other video where I unboxed one. There's one in there now, and this is the Titan. I've gone for the Paladin version, which has this rapid fire battle cannon, and at the moment everything is movable and posable. Now, one thing I didn't completely understand when I bought one of these was the legs. Now, the legs, you can't move them. You can pose them, but you need to cut some of the pistons apart and change some of the legs and things like that. But normally, out of the box, if you're just going to glue it piece by piece, it will be in one static pose with the left leg almost straight and the right leg bent a little bit as it's walking forward. You can already tell that it's quite naked. By that I mean I have a load of pieces there that I've yet to put on, and that's because when I paint this, I'm gonna use Games Workshop's advice and spray the whole model. These all come off at the moment, so it'd be completely naked. I'm going to spray the whole thing and then dry brush it with the metal, the lead belcher, and work on it there. So anyway, most of the parts do come apart and do pop off, especially things like the knee armour and the front panelling. So that's what you may wish to do. So just talk about the parts that I've left unglued that will be painted separately. The top carapace or roof, the two pauldrons, shoulder pauldrons, the top head armour, both of the knee armour plates, the shin armour plates, the thigh armour plates, these knee armour plates, these little square ones, the groin cover or armour plate, left that off, the helmet itself, or kind of head, face, whatever you want to call it, and the lower chest armour plate. So they're all of the pieces I've left off of the model. I haven't glued, and with a model like this I'm going to spray it all and then paint it individually. Now, it's at this stage that you've really kind of got to think about a pose, but that is up to you. I'm going to be building a few other models and painting a few other models before I come back to this, so you probably won't see it painted for quite a while. I haven't yet decided on a pose, but I think it's quite cool leaving it like this, where it completely detaches off the nipple joint, as I've now nicknamed it, and you can move the arms. You can see the piston in there. You can move the arm, you can rotate it, and it actually holds a pose quite convincingly. It won't keep that pose if you're moving it back and forward during a game, but you may want to pose it every time. But let's face it, this is wargaming, this isn't another sport. So that goes the same for the battle cannon or thermal cannon, whichever you've gone for. Now, I glued these two parts, but I didn't glue the actual top part of the piston, which means it still has some movement there, but not a whole lot. But again, moves up and down, left, right, you name it. So I'm at that crucial stage where I may decide to glue it in one fixed position, but it's entirely up to you, and I completely understand where you're coming from if you want to leave it as it is and have it posable. But painting onto a piece that is not kind of fixed can become quite difficult. Anyway, now, so that's the model itself. You don't get many parts left over, which I suppose is a good thing. But is it a bad thing as well? Well, let's see. These are the parts that were left over. It's the thermal cannon and the shield part of the weapon. I assume that this is kind of the gas or the fuel that's used to power it. You get your 2 helmet heads that are remaining. I mean, you've seen them with 4 now, because you've got those 2, you've got the one that I just showed you, and then some knights just leave the front face as it is. You've got a bit of tubing there, which is again is for the thermal cannon. You've got a couple of insignias, which normally would go on the front piece of the carapace, and you've got a lot of purity seals. You know, the little ribbon type scroll things, and you've got a couple of these small sockets that would go on the front of this weapon. So you don't get many parts spare, but you do get some, and I'm sure you probably can find it useful, some use for the heads. So I'll do a couple of size comparisons. This is a Terminator, which are not that small of a model, but that is a Terminator, and he's just going to be, I mean, look at the size, it's simply dwarfs a Terminator there. He's going to be hacking away at his leg like you would use them, and a normal Space Marine in this cool little look at me, I'm going to roast you pose, or singe your joints. He just is not even on the same scale, is he? I mean, he's just very, very small. And here it is next to a rhino. Rhinos aren't particularly that small, but it dwarfs that. And next to a Space Marine Dreadnought, it completely dwarfs that. I mean, I think that the Dreadnought only comes up to about the knee, really, if that. And it wasn't that long ago that Dreadnoughts, quite a big thing on the battlefield, quite scary as well. Well, I can tell you now that this thing is much more of a target, and cooler looking, I think. But yeah. Well, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching this kind of review and things of the Imperial Knight Titan. Construction difficulty, I would say that it's probably a 4 out of 5. It's more difficult than a tank, but not as difficult as, say, a full-size Titan. So, I mean, some of the joints and things can be quite complicated, and it does take quite a long time to build. It took me a little while, but that's because there's so many little things on there that you wouldn't think need that many pieces, like the the handrails and the joints and things like that. But yeah, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 definitely. One of these will set you back £85 if you haven't seen them already. I immediately wanted one as soon as I saw one. I didn't even see one in the flesh either. I just saw one on the internet, and I knew I had to have that model, because they definitely one of the best models GW have come up with for quite some time, probably since the Wraith Knight, I'd say. But anyway, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. The Emperor protects.